Hello. It's me, Queen Sensitivity. Yeah, so this is going to be divine wisdom or divine guidance from your past life. I got these two books up here that we may or may not use that I felt were kind of relevant because it's like finding your old body or finding your last echo. I want to say that I do know that, past, it's not really a past life because it's everything is happening simultaneously, everything everywhere all at once. But for the sake of like understanding or the sake of grasping what I'm digging into, that's the name of this. This video is greatly inspired by dreams that I've been having where I feel like there've been like alternate realities. So I guess that's also what I mean by past lives, like parallel universes and like the wisdom from those. So you can go ahead and pick a card, pick a pile. This is pile 1, this is pile 2, this is pile 3, and this is pile 4. I haven't done 4 piles in a long time, but I felt like it's been something missing, so I added it. So pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. I've piqued the curiosity of Kitty. He just got up. But yeah, I'll see you at your piles. Okay, pile 1. Pile 1. So this is the card with like how do you look in your past life, and this is the divine guidance, but we will be shuffling some cards live today, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, I'm gonna just dig into it. So these are some famous people that you might look like, and then let's get an angel number and a zodiac sign. One more zodiac sign. Oh, angel number. One more zodiac sign. All right, there we go. Both of these look like M's. So maybe in your past life you had like your name started with an M, or maybe your name starts with an M again here. Because this looks like an M. This Virgo sign and this Scorpio sign, they both look like M's. And these are both fixed zodiac signs, so I'm guessing this is probably something that's followed you throughout your lives. You might be a very stubborn person, very set in your ways, very determined, very passionate, very strong-willed, not easily swayed, and not easily swayed. Like, it's very hard to change your opinion on things. And I feel like you always have good reasons. You're not one of those people who just like, I believe this just because. Like, you feel that way because your instincts tell you to. You're very much guided by like this internal source. So these are important. And let's pick up some names. I'm picking up, before I open this, hello kitty, he's under the table. So before I open this, I want to tap into your energy a little bit like I usually do. I feel like I rushed into this, so you might be very impatient. So maybe some Leo as well. I feel like you just jump into things, and I feel like even though you have this Virgo and Scorpio, I feel like there is an element to you of winging things, like because you have that much confidence in yourself. And also I feel like you do a lot of preparation. And so like the day of something, the day of when an event happens, you just go into it. You don't what's it called, like contemplate, or what's it called, like you don't stall, you don't sit and wait, you just jump right into it because you've already prepared and because you trust yourself, you trust your instincts, you trust your guidance. So I'm also picking up on Katniss. It's like she was always a leader. She was always fearless the way she volunteered for her sister. But she was also like thrust into a leadership role like really quickly. So maybe you had that where when you were younger, you matured very quickly. Hello, kitty. You matured very quickly, or like, I don't know, I feel like you just come off as very mature for your age. Maybe even like at 4, you were like, I know what I want. I know what I want to do, like just very, you know, controlled and mature and adult like. And you know, even though Katniss was very inexperienced at being a celebrity, at being like this global icon, or this nationwide, I should say, icon, she fit the role very well and she adjusted very quickly. So let's see. You have Charles Barkley. He's an NBA. He's very important, and I think he's 58 when I wrote this. So maybe this number is important. Kamala Harris, she was 53 when I wrote this, obviously Vice President of the United States, and she was the first. This is what I'm saying, like, she was the first, and I bet Charles Barkley was like the first, I don't know, in his family to do something big. It's like, she's the first woman vice president, as well as the first Black vice president, as well as the first Indian Black vice president, Indian American, you know, African American president. Like, she's multiple things at once. And like, I don't know, but she like fits the role very well. I don't know how to describe it. Beyonce, I believe she's 42 right now. And she is on the Renaissance tour. So it's like rebirth and newness, and also that Scorpio energy again. And just the Renaissance in general is like innovation, innovative, creative. Amber Rose was 38 when I wrote this, a model TV person. So what I'm also picking up on is that you have like beauty, you have a face that I feel like the general public doesn't mind to look at, you know what I mean? Like eye candy for the general public, like Katniss Everdeen, like she just happened to be also attractive, like for this role. Like you're like the perfect fit, you know what I mean? You're the perfect fit. You have to have certain things, like you can't just be good at politics to be in these roles. You can't just be a good talker. You can't just be charismatic. You have to be like a combination of things in order to fit well into these specific roles. I feel like all these people are somewhat political, even though like they're not politicians except for Kamala, obviously, but like I feel like they all speak up on certain things, but they're not politicians. I feel like that's you. I'm feeling very hot. Awkwafina, I bet she's the first in her family as well. She's a comedian actor, and she was 33 when I wrote this. There's a lot of people. We have Sia, very innovative. The black and white wig, like being two things at once, was 46 when I wrote this. We have two more. Chris Hemsworth, see, very beautiful. And Sitting Bull was a Standing Rock Indian reservation person. So this is a Native American person who was also a leader. So lots of like leaders here. I'm gonna drink some water. I feel very like out of breath. Like very anxious and like wanting to get something done, very like task oriented, I feel. Okay, so how did you look? So we have Jacinda Ardern. So I'm guessing most likely you were a female or identified as a female, as a woman. And I think you definitely had at least one child. I think you might have been a single parent, but if not, you were the main parent, so to speak, you know, like the one that if the child needed anything, they'd come ask you first. If they wanted to go somewhere, they'd come ask you first. If they were sick, they'd go to you for comfort rather than their other parent. Or it could have been one of those societies or realities where you don't necessarily need like another person, like a sperm donor, or like I don't know, like you impregnated yourself. And so there is no other parent, versus like single parent would be a parent who like lost their partner or they're no longer together, like something like that. I feel like in this society, I feel like you specifically chose to like impregnate yourself and have your own child. So it says, never underestimate the power of yes. Immense strength springs from great compassion. It takes a village to make a superwoman. So yeah, that's this. And then also these Scorpio and Virgo personalities. This is on the number 1 and the number 3, so 13, the divine feminine number, and also rebirth, so that renaissance again. The number 35, maybe 35 was an important age of you that year, or maybe you were born during the 13th month, or maybe you were born in March, the 3rd month, on the 5th day, March 5th, or the May 3rd, something like that. January 3rd, the 13th, something like that with your birthday. But I feel like these numbers 13 and 35 are important in terms of like their meaning for numerology, as well as with angel numbers would be important to you. I feel like you were very, like, your whole thing was being a parent, I feel like, and you wanted the best life for your child. And I feel like you made sure to secure a very beautiful area to raise your child in, with great people, great neighbors, clean water, clean air, clean organic food, maybe even made your own food. I just feel like you're very protective. And I'm also getting that woman from American Horror Stories, that actor. She's in like almost all the seasons, but she also played Nurse Ratched in that Netflix series, and she was also in that movie called Run. I believe right now it's on no, it's on Hulu. It's called Run, and she kind of looked like this. And she had this daughter that she was like scarily overprotective of, to the point where she created this fake disease that her daughter had, and like was keeping her prisoner. I don't think you did any of that, but I do think you were very, very protective of your child, to the point where like you would go a bit above and beyond. So like maybe if your child like had a friend that they brought home, like you would do like extensive research on that friend and like their family and where they come from. You'd probably learn some like dirt on them in case you had to like blackmail them later on. So I feel like you really went into it. You did that. And even this name, maybe look up the meaning of the name Jacinda, or like where it comes from, or maybe even the last name Arden might be important, or even where this person is from. So divine guidance, we have you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness, face your true north. So your guidance from this version of you is to continue to be the way you are. Like I said, this person is very strong-willed, and I feel like a lot of people in this world are not. And if they are strong-willed, they're not also simultaneously open-minded to new ideas. You, even though you're strong-willed and you're fixed sign, you aren't stuck in a way for the sake of being stuck in a way. If you are introduced to something new, you are open to integrating that. Excuse me. Yeah, that's strong. That's why I burped. But they're saying like, don't give up on that. Don't give up on that part of yourself that is like that. Don't stop being tough for the sake of making other people's softness more comfortable. And I feel like they also want you to like be more bold in your fashion choices, because it looks like both of these people are wearing like these trench coats. So they want you to be more bold in like what you wear and be more audacious. Cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So at this point in your life, I feel like you might be having some sort of disappointment. Could have something to do with this child. Maybe you're struggling to have a child, or you're struggling to like control the child you have, or you're struggling to provide for the child you have or the children you have. There's something like this surrounding this child, or maybe you're just you're feeling a lot of trauma from your own inner child. They want you to really just surrender to it. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to force it. Don't try to be this super parent, super mom, super dad, whatever. Don't try to be like this above and beyond person. The more you like struggle against it, I feel like the worse it'll be. And they really want you to like let go and like let things be delivered to you, as difficult as that may be. So let's see. What else do they want you to know? Just one, just this one, yeah. 7 of Stones, 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, they want you to take it one day at a time. I feel like there's something, like it looks like an avalanche, like something overwhelming you, something pressing, like the sun rising, time is running out. They want you to take one step at a time. Like if you have, I don't know, a certain amount to pay off on a bill, pay whatever amount you can a day, $10, $5, just chip away at it. Don't try to like deliver the whole thing to this house at once. Take one package at a time. So let's get you a quote from The Body Finder by Emily Durding. It says, "Hi, Uncle Stephen." She acknowledged him curiously, pulling out a chair at the table. She wanted to ask a million questions about what had happened after she'd left yesterday, but from the look of him, she decided to wait and see why he'd stopped by. She doubted this was a courtesy or a social call, since the only thing he should be visiting right now was his bed. So yes, decided to wait and see why. Wait and see why. Don't rush. Don't try to force. Surrender to it. Take things slowly, and that's the best option for you. That's the guidance from your past life divine self. So go ahead and leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, DM me for a personal reading, give this video a like, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Pile 2. I just remembered that I have to do 4 piles, so pile 2, maybe you've forgotten something that you need to do. But okay, so this is going to be what you looked like in this past life, and this is going to be the guidance, the divine guidance you need to receive. We're going to pull some celebrities that you may have looked like back then, even though this is also happening now. So I think you could think of this more in terms of like alternate realities or parallel timelines. And then angel numbers and zodiac signs that might have been or be relevant still in this alternative life or past life, if you will. Sorry for bumping the camera. But I am picking up on the color green. I'm seeing like a turtle. So I feel like you might have been like some sort of monk, like very wise, very patient. And I feel like you're still that way now, even though you might disagree. Like you might feel like, oh no, I'm not patient. I'm not like, you know, I'm not monkish. I'm not like a yoga meditating person, but I feel like you are though. Like you really are. And I feel like that's something that people like about you now, is that you have this very humbling, quiet kind of essence to you. Okay, and so angel number, wow, number 3 again. Number 3 was the angel number that came out in the first pile. Zodiac sign and one more angel number. 1. So this is the same number that came out in pile 1, the number 13. Wow, that's incredible. 13 or 31. I feel like for you, December is really important. I don't know why I'm getting that. I think because, excuse me, oh, this is strong. I think because December has 31 days in the month. I feel like, I don't know if that's important. Like it's like a jam-packed month, because the maximum number of days that you can have in a month is 31. So I feel like that also like applies to you. Like, I don't know, I feel like if you have a sibling or you have siblings, for example, you know how some genes will show up in one of the siblings and not the other from both parents. I feel like you got all the genes from both parents, or all the genes from one parent. Let's say both your parents have freckles. Your sibling didn't get the freckles, but you did. both your parents have, like, I don't know, detached earlobes. You got the detached earlobes and your sibling didn't, or like one of your parent had like a gap and you got the gap and your sibling did. It's like something like you got all the traits from somebody. You're jam packed full of them. And I also feel like this applies to your womb. So I'm getting, regardless if you are a man or a woman or even non-binary, I keep seeing like this show called Parks and Recreation, and there's this character named Leslie Knope, and she randomly went on a date with this weird doctor, and he told her that she had a good oven, like she had a good womb, and like she could probably fit, like she'd probably get like 3 kids on the first try. Like you have like, I don't know, maybe you're a twin, or like you have twins or triplets, or like maybe that's a thing in your family where y'all have like sets of twins, or one of your parents is a twin or a triplet. There's something like that, like a full house. Okay, so you have what? I didn't even see this. You have Gemini, so 2. The duality. I don't know how else to emphasize it. This is literally like the zodiac sign for 2. And then you have Libra, which is also about scales, which is 2. So yeah, there's a lot of like duality, and I would even say like symmetry to you. Like I feel like you have another half, like you have a very close sibling, or you're very close with one of your parents, or you met somebody who's not biologically related to you, but y'all have like a lot in common. Your twins could be twin flames, or could just be like soul family who you have like, I call them twin aspects, like a lot of synchronicities with this other person. So celebrities, we have, I'm in a rush, I can't even unfold a piece of paper. Jennifer Lawrence. Wow, you know what's interesting is Jennifer Lawrence came out not in these things, but I mentioned her character Katniss from the Hunger Games. And look at that, 31. You have so many synchronicities, pile too, so many off the chart. So look up angel number 31 for sure. She was 31 when I wrote that. Jaden Smith, yeah, he looks just like his sister Willow, and I'm pretty sure they're pretty close. Like the numbers 2 and 3 are touching, they're right next to each other. And then their names, like Jaden is like named after Jada, which is his mom, and then Willow is named after Will, which is her dad. Like it's like this crisscross that happened with their names. Jimmy Fallon, 47. Look, all J's. Either your name starts with a J now, or it did in this past life that we're tapping into, or both. All J's. Tom Ford, he was 60 when I wrote this. I hope he's alive. I don't know. Channing Tatum, look at that. Now T's, 2 T's. And this is a lot of masculine. So I'm guessing in this past life you were a masculine, a man. Yeah, because most of these are men. And you could be a man now, or you could be a masculine person now. Vera Wang, 72. And this is also something I was going to mention. I feel like you got to an older age with Tom Ford and Vera Wang. I feel like you got older in this lifetime, like you didn't die young. Okay, I don't know why I'm like so hot. Like, oh, let me open this window. I'm not like hot, I'm just like stuffy. Like it feels very stuffy. So with you being the person that's the sibling person, maybe you grew up in like a home where you had to share your bedroom with like multiple people, or like you had a tiny home where it just felt like you were always on top of one another, like this claustrophobic kind of feeling. Malala Yousafzai, I believe. So I think this is how you looked in your past life, but I do believe you were a man, or in your alternate life. So you had like thick eyebrows, you had like you had brown eyes, and you had thick black hair. And I feel like maybe it was in this past life too, you were like cramped. So your head was always in the clouds, like you were a daydreamer. And I feel like this made you really good at like creating stories. So you could have been like a director or like a designer like Vera Wang, like because she creates stories through her designs, through her art. Very artistic, very creative. And I do feel like this is something that you pursued for a living. However, I feel like it didn't come into being something that you were famous for or something that you got to live off of until you were older. I don't think that this is something that you were able to accomplish at a young age. This person also has these two moles, these two facial marks. So I feel like there was something about your face that was very distinctive. So maybe you had like these two moles, or you had a huge dimple or dimples on both sides of your face, or you had some sort of scar, indention, or birthmark on your face. There was something on your face that was very distinctive and set you apart. And most likely you had a twin, or you had triplets, so you had two people who looked like you, but you had something on your face that set you apart. I do feel like this life and your life now, there are a lot of synchronicities, a lot of crossovers, but I do feel like the thing that's distinctive about this life, as I'm getting like, have you seen the movie Ready Player One? If you haven't, just go watch the trailer. But like he lived in that, they lived in like these containers. I feel like that's the reality that you were in this life that I'm tapping into, and you were a daydreamer. Maybe you even had like virtual reality game where you were like always gone. Like I said, head in the clouds, not really in reality. And so in this lifetime, you might have a lot of trouble grounding, which is interesting because like I said, there's this like feeling about you. Like I said, you come off very green, you come off very earthy, you come off like a turtle, but you might not feel like that because both of these are air signs. You might feel like you find it very hard to ground now, even now with these clouds, to be in reality. But people, when they're around you, I feel like they feel comfortable. So let's read this. It says, the most effective weapon is pen and paper. Nothing is more powerful than a woman in this world. Mistakes are a privilege of freedom. This is a Pakistani activist, and she won a Nobel Prize. So yeah, you believed that art could change the world, and I feel like you still do feel that way. But I do feel like there's like some doubt and hesitancy and some struggle with you trying to make that happen in this life. So let's get some divine guidance. Trying to see if I should shuffle first. I'll shuffle these first. What do they need to know? There we go. So I feel like these are supposed to clarify. So you have We the Hawthorns, you have Loosen Your Grip, and you have Star Family. Then you have the Devil, and you have 3 of Arrows, which is 3 of Swords in reverse. So there is some sort of heartbreak or some sort of disappointment. I feel like there's a lack of support from your family or from, your chosen family around you. They don't really believe in this artistic dream you have. They don't see the benefits of this. Like they don't believe in you. They don't believe in your dream. They think you should do something more practical. And I also feel like you've had some sort of heartbreak in terms of a romantic partner, or just somebody who is your best friend. I feel like they've let you down, or you had something like that where you couldn't really trust them. And I feel like the guidance from this alternative reality, you, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal, they want you to use this time to both do nothing and do something. It's like they want you to isolate yourself and create, but don't create for the sake of don't create like anybody's gonna see it. create like it's just for you. Excuse me. This is strong. So I'm picking up on that guy, Justin. I always forget his last name, but he's the guy from the band Bon Iver, which means good winter in French. And his first album was after this really big heartbreak and like this failure. He felt like such a failure in his life. Like he failed at something that was a tradition in his family, if I'm not mistaken. And he had a bad breakup, I think. And so what he did, he just retreated to this cabin in the woods that was in his family. And he just stayed there and hunted for his food and made this album. And the album ended up doing really, really well. But he made it alone. And he didn't make it for anybody. He was just so raw and just so pure and so vulnerable, so authentic and just ugly and wild. And I feel like that's what they want you to do. They want you to retreat and create. Loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. So I feel like you have this addiction, whether you're aware of it or not, of being approved. And look at this. So this could be with your sibling, like having their approval, needing their permission, having them agree with what you're doing. And I feel like they're saying you don't need to. That's a coping mechanism. You don't actually need them to survive. You don't need them to agree with you in order for something to be good. That's just something that you've programmed yourself to believe because of, repetition and certain circumstances that have happened in your life. Then we have Star Family. You're part of a team of souls calling support. So yeah, I feel like what they're saying also with you being like, you did get very successful later in life in this other lifetime. It just took you a while, but you did have, like, once you garnered that support, so many people respected you. So many people genuinely cared about you. And I feel like they want you to reach out to this support that might not be here with you now. Okay, let's do a quote from this one. So it says, Jay didn't ask her if she was ready to go or not. He just put his arms around her. There was nothing gentle or reassuring about the contact. It was meant more to guide than to comfort her as he led her out of the mall into the car. So yes, the reason that you're in this kind of being pushed, Three of Swords, the devil energy, is because Spirit is trying to push you to become your greatest self. That's why it's uncomfortable. Okay? So you're doing great. You're just becoming your greatest self. So this is the end of your reading. Please leave a comment if this resonated. You're welcome to DM me or email me for a personal reading. All that information is in the description. If you would like to donate, you can do so. There's a link in the description. You can subscribe. You can give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you next time. Bye, bye, bye. Oh. Pile 3. I may go get some Florida water. Pile 3. I did not expect this reading to make me feel so uncomfortable, but I do. I don't know if it's just coming from the last pile or what. That is strange. It's none of this has been uncomfortable, but there is this tightening, pressure cooking feeling. I'm trying to see if it's coming from you, like from this pile. Yes, so I feel like this isn't you, but I do feel like there is somebody or some entity, something trying to run like interference on your life, pile number 3. And so if you've been feeling like very strange or feeling very uncomfortable, feeling stressed or like overwhelmed, I would encourage you to increase your protection. So, you know, just ask for it. Ask to be protected from spirit. By spirit. Ask for like, I don't know, source light to like flow down on you and protect you in a nice bubble, and to send back any hexes, send back any black magic spells. I send it back. I send it back to source. I reverse it. You might have your own practices that you do, but I always recommend black crystals, any black crystal, obsidian, onyx, tourmaline, any protective crystals like that. Black sea salt, I believe, is also very good. Sage, Palo Santo, I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. And rue. Like to cleanse and smudge your space, smudge spray, something like that, because I do feel like there is some sort of something at play. Okay, so we have here, these are going to be the cards for how you looked in this past life or this alternate reality, and this is going to be your divine guidance, and we're going to get some celebrity names that you might have looked like back then and some angel numbers. Alright. Angel number 1 is 8, excuse me. I think that's going to be the only angel number. And then we have these 2 zodiac signs. 8. So I'm picking up that you are very abundant. And I do feel like this is something that you didn't like ask for. You didn't like earn this abundance. I feel like you just came from a very wealthy family, from a place of privilege. And I feel like perhaps because of this, you had like a lot of haters, a lot of people jealous of you. Like you didn't really, yeah. Because even here with this Kimberly Durden, I'm picking up on like Kim Kardashian. And I just think of all the little clips I've seen of her where she's like talking about, you gotta work hard, you gotta put in the work, get your ass up and work. And like people hate that video because they're like, because you worked so hard to like get where you are. You know, she's coming from this place of privilege. And you know, the thing is, I'm sure she does work hard. I'm sure she believes that she works hard, but at the same time, she is still coming from a place of privilege. It's like, for example, a person that is able-bodied, so a person who is able to walk and to run, saying, I worked so hard to like climb this mountain. And like you're saying this to people who are disabled with their legs. Like they in order for them to climb a mountain, they would really have to like put in the work and come up with some sort of, you know, resources in order to do that, and help from other people in order to be able to climb that mountain. It's different coming from a person that is able-bodied. So I feel like this is something that was something that happened to cause tension in this past life, where you had a lot of privilege, you had a lot of abundance, and people did not like you for it. And I feel like when you tried to speak, there would be a lot of pushback from anything you said. You might have thought, like, I feel like Kim, I think I saw a clip and she was saying how she didn't think that video would have such a reaction, and it's because she doesn't think like that. It's because she's coming from a place of privilege. Like if you don't have to consider things, you never had to consider a certain way of life, what you think is just a casual statement can actually be very harmful and hurtful and painful to other people. And I feel like this is something that happened in your past life where, like, no matter what you said, even if you had the best intentions, like the road would just be paved to hell. And so I feel like you might have had to choose between like being silent and like speaking up, trying to help regardless. Like this like balancing act. So you have Capricorn and you have Aries. So yeah, you are very attractive. This is the earth sign, and then this is a fire sign. So I don't really know much about these two signs, and I don't know what Kim Kardashian's signs are or whatever. I'm not really a zodiac person, but I do think these signs were relevant for your past life. And I feel like you were attractive in a way that was very dominating. Like, let's say you're in this high school, and like no matter how many designer clothes somebody else got, or how fit they were, like how much they exercised, like everybody else would still want to be friends with you. And no matter what anybody else did, you just had this dominating energy about you. You have, yeah. This makes sense. Megan Fox, yeah. She's one of those people. You know what's interesting? I watched an interview of hers. It was just a clip. Lots of clips. I feel like people take a lot of what you said out of context, or just like they just picked apart what you said. They didn't get the full thing. But I remember I watched this interview clip of her, and she was saying she actually used to have a very bad like body dysmorphia. Like she just didn't think that she was attractive. And you know, and this is when she was at the height of her career, when she was in all these movies. She was like the hottest girl in the world. Like she was like Megan Fox, you know what I mean? Like she's amazing. Like everybody thought she was the sexiest woman in the world, and like she just didn't feel that way. I feel like this energy kind of is still present here in this life, and it might be something that really bothers you. Like what is it good for? Like I have these things, I have money, I come from privilege, I have this able body, you know, I'm beautiful, but like, what does it really get me? I feel like very stuffy. Anna Kendrick, very talented singer, has this very like attractive personality. It's like she's very easy to be around, Anna Kendrick. Will Smith, very handsome, very attractive. All these people are actors, by the way. So I do think that you were some sort of actor, some sort of performancer. And I feel like this might have made it worse. Like people loved you for characters. Like somebody else wrote that, and then somebody else directed that. You just pretended to be that person. You pretended to be somebody else. So I feel like you might have had a lot of imposter syndrome. Yeah, every single one of these people are actors. Julia Child, who is a chef, and I think of obviously Meryl Streep whenever I think of Julia Child, because she played her in that movie Julia and Julia. So yeah, and I feel like people didn't really know who you were, and I feel like when people wrote about you, or maybe somebody made a movie about you, like Julia and Julia, they just didn't really get you in the movie. They falsely portrayed you. Alexander McQueen was a designer, and he died. I don't know. I'm getting like also Alexander the Great, and I'm feeling dizzy right now. Melissa McCartney is also an actor and a comedian. Yeah, all these people are actors. And we have 2 A names and 2 M names. And even the W is upside down M. So M and A could be your initials now, M and A, or maybe you have those letters in your name now, but these are both definitely letters, if not the start of letters, in your names in this other lifetime. I'm spraying more Florida water because it's very like hard. Let me see. Arakina na soroki shanana. Arakina sorokara kina sara shokina na sara korokina na orakora kina na sara oro ganana sirikina shokoroka. Arana arakara kia sara na shokorokia. As it really does feel like I'm considering like stopping this reading, because it feels very like something doesn't want me to talk. Like there's this very like secretive energy. And so I don't know, I feel like also you, because like you didn't just come from like this no name wealthy family. I feel like you were known, and I feel like there was a lot of things you couldn't say. You had a real lack of freedom because this family you came from was very powerful, and so you couldn't like speak, you couldn't say certain things, you weren't really free. Like even if you like went off and got like married or something, like they chose your spouse, you didn't get to choose who you were married to. It's reminded me of this show called The Lioness Black Ops with Zoe Saldana and Nicole Kidman. It's on not Peacock, it's on Paramount Plus. And there was this woman in there, and she was like that. She was very wealthy. Her dad was like this big time dude, but she was basically very trapped. Like she got to go and spend millions of dollars on a shopping spree, blow money just like that. She had to fly wherever she wanted, but the moment that her presence was required, she had to show up. She could not say no. She had to marry a certain person. She had to have certain friends. Like she was basically like a glorified prisoner. And that's what I'm feeling. Like it's like this energy that I was picking up on that didn't like want me to speak. So I feel like there's also something you know now from even probably this other lifetime that they don't want getting out. And maybe that's why. Maybe you feel this energy all the time, like this heaviness, or like somebody is like fucking with you. So you could do probably I don't know, past life regression, whatever the hell that is, I don't really know, or like what's it called, Reiki healing, some sort of like in-depth reading with somebody who you trust to help you clear this out. So what do you look like? So you definitely had brown skin, because you have Maya Angelou and Aboa. Both of these names sound very poetic, but I do feel like you had brown skin, and I do feel like this was still in a reality where people with brown skin weren't assumed to be the top of the food chain. You know, people are like surprised when like a person with Indian descent is very wealthy, you know, something like that, like, or a person from the Middle East, or a Filipino person, or a person from Brazil. Like they're surprised when like people who look a certain way have money. And I feel like this was still the same in this other life, this past life. And I feel like your family got to that position through like blood, like through like hard cutthroat actions. And so they're respected, but even then their power was earned. It wasn't like, you know, white people where they can like just be very, I don't know, rich doctors or some shit that went to Harvard, and obviously their wealth on back comes from cutthroat activities, you know. But closer up, more recently, it looks very pretty and clean. Your family's wealth and notoriety did not come from that. But I feel like you had these like rounded eyes, like this, like almost these almond eyes. I do think you had African type of nose, like with these kind of wide nostrils. And I do think you had pink lips, natural pink lips, because both of these people have pink lips. And I feel like you were very passionate. You probably like to write, and I think you cared a lot about the world. But I feel like you were very much misconstrued and not seen in a very authentic way. So first, let's get some live shuffling. You know, I'm not gonna keep this reading going for too long. It feels very, like, uncomfortable. But I still want to do it. Let's get that one. So you have the Emperor. So this is your divine guidance, and you have the Four of Swords. You have weight of the world, boundaries, let it go, it's not yours to carry. So the advice, the divine guidance is that you're still carrying this type of energy, even in this lifetime, even if you're not famous, which I'm guessing you're not if you're watching my video. You need to let this go. You need to really actively be releasing this. It's okay if it takes some time for this to completely go away, or even for it to majorly go away. But this is something you need to do, because like I'm telling you, it's very heavy. It feels very uncomfortable. And I feel like there is still this oppressive energy around you that you need to cleanse and eradicate. You have your life as a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability. Yeah, you have the Emperor here, the Four of Swords here with this person like weaving something, and even here with, you know, these two people. I don't know who this is, but it feels like they're both artists. Obviously, Maya is a poet. So it's like you need to, I feel like, be very aware of what you create says about who you are. So let's say if you are a writer, or you are a poet, maybe you just write these poems, or you write whatever you write, and then you just go on about your way. I feel like they want you to take some time to really look into how your art reflects you, because you're manifesting something, I feel like, subconsciously that you don't want, but you keep recreating it. The golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. So you're definitely a star seed as well. So this might also be something that was similar in a different star system, where you had this pressure as somebody's child, the child of somebody else. So I feel like you'd also benefit, the guidance is that you would benefit from inner child healing, being very kind, being very gentle with yourself. Yeah. Like, be your own emperor again, but also, what does that even mean to you? They want you to do a lot of inner introspection, a lot of intrapersonal communication with yourself. So this is your reading, pile number 3. I really hope this helped. I send you many blessings. If you would like a spiritual service of mine, there's information on that in the description. I would recommend for you specifically my sacred sound bath, which is on my Ko-fi page. It's a clearing sound bath that will clear your aura, clear your energy field. It's very powerful. I've used it more than one time, and I'm always surprised by how much it helps me. There's also donation links if you would like to donate to support me and my work. Leave a comment if this resonated, and I will see you next time. Bye. Pile 4. This has been a doozy. I did not expect this to be the reading. So with this being the opening of your reading, I don't think anything is a coincidence. I feel like you're not expecting something to go a certain way, that it will be going. And I feel like this is more than one thing. I feel like this is just the theme in your life right now, where unexpected things happen. Like, for example, I went to see the Mean Girls musical movie, and I thought it was going to be like this huge movie like Barbie, and like it was going to be so fantastic, and it was good, but it wasn't top tier. It's like I had this expectation, and it wasn't a bad outcome, but it was different than I thought it was going to be. And so I feel like that's a theme. It's a thematic template that's happening in your life where your expectations are being not met. So, the way the mention of that, think pink, which is in common with the heart chakra, is important for you. Maybe lots of heart chakra activations. So we're going to get these cards here for what you looked like in this past life, and this is going to be the divine guidance. And first, I'm going to get the names of some celebrities that you might have looked like or been like at that time. Okay. Oh. Where'd it go? This one, this one. So we have Leo and Cancer, and I feel like Sagittarius too. Let's go ahead and put that one out there. I feel like she was calling my name. So water and fire. I'm hearing that you were a very good conversationalist. I feel like you had a very exuberant, dynamic, enthusiastic way of expressing yourself. Kind of picking up on that scientist from Big Hero 6. It was the girl with the woman with the big eyes and the lab coat, and she made these bubbles, these like balls. Like her personality is what I'm getting for you. But you were very smart. Like I said, the scientist. So let's toss this one again. The numbers 0 and 20. So I feel like you were constantly, I don't know, surprising people. I feel like you might have been a mystic, even then a psychic person, even in this lifetime. And you were able to kind of like jump into different realities, and it was normal for you. And so you weren't a very heavy person because you understood the brevity of things, but you were still sensitive and very empathic. You were definitely a divine being. I feel like you were odd even in this life, in this other alternate lifetime, but you didn't judge yourself for it. Like you didn't feel ostracized. You like knew you were different, and like that was something that you celebrated, but also something you didn't really pay much attention to because you don't have any other frame of reference to compare it to. It's like, oh, I'm the only person that eat bananas, but like you ask compared to what? Like you never, there was never a version of you that ate bananas, if that makes sense, or didn't eat bananas. I don't even know what I said. But I feel like even with this like memory loss of like not knowing what I said, I feel like that was you. Like you found yourself popping in and out of places. And so you would say things that hadn't happened yet, or in this reality, this person drove a blue car to work, but in this other reality, they took a horse to work. And like, you would say things like that in the wrong reality, and people would be like, ha, they're so, Pow 4 is so weird and funny. And like, you'd be like, ha ha, like you'd laugh along with it because you don't take it seriously. But it's also because you saw multiple realities, like you jumped around. I'm trying to think if I know like a character from a movie that was like this. Oh, thank God, your energy feels much better. Pow 3 had me like in a chokehold. Jesus, I feel much better now. You're very powerful, and I feel like you were very young. You kind of remind me of Aang from, yeah, that's it. Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and how he was technically like 110, but he was still 10 because he'd frozen in time, and so he would go to places and he remembered them this way, but then they'd be this completely other way because 100 years had passed. Like his friend who was 10 when he last saw him is now 112. Like, you know what I mean? Like it would be off. And he would say he's very weird and eclectic and very wise still, and still very sensitive, even though he does have that maturity that he can step into. And then at different parts in the show, we saw him tap into previous avatars, lifetimes, and he could see their experiences. That's how you were, okay? Yeah, let's get some. So Aang is one of the celebrities. You looked very young. You have Randall Park. This is an actor, a comedian. Always Be My Maybe. Yeah, that's that guy from that movie. I don't know. I don't think he looks very young. 47, but I feel like maybe that movie's important because they do like the past and present sort of thing. Jennifer Gardner. She's very beautiful. And I saw her in these videos at a supermarket selling like these kids smoothies or these smoothies for children. I didn't even move this one. This is the die from the previous reading. So let's see. What's the number for you here? 4. I actually have a 4 in my veins. I don't think you can see it now. No. But I have a 4 in my veins. I used to always wonder why. 4 is a very grounded number, very like foundational number. So I feel like you just knew who you were. And even though you were weird and very different, like I said, you didn't judge yourself. You didn't alienate yourself because of it. You really accepted yourself for how you are. We have Black China. Very beautiful. A model and a socialite. I feel like you were also like a jack of all trades. You're like a comedian, an actor, you know, a model. Rachel Ray, a chef. See, look, I feel like you were very good at different things. And I feel like people, it's also that show, what's it called? My 19 Lives on Netflix. Like my 19th life, and she was this person and she remembered all her past lives. Like she remembered all of them throughout the ages. And so she was very strange, but she was very young but technically very old at the same time. Harrison Ford, look, another actor, but from the movie Call of the Wild. Yeah, very wild. I feel like you had so many experiences. You could relate to anybody. Let's see what you look like. Ooh, Cardi B. So I feel like this is good. So I think you definitely had like these type of like slanted eyes. I feel like this is important. Some sort of Asian background where you had these types of eyes. But I do feel like you were not just one race or even one ethnicity. You had many in you, even in your physical body. So not only were you like jumping around to these different timelines and could remember these things, and you were very young and very old at the same time, you also physically had multiple types of genes and multiple like cultural backgrounds. Because she's very mixed and she has like a very strange name. And then Serena Williams. Wow. I just got like hit in my chest very strong. So Serena Williams is from Compton, California. And she grew up with a lot of siblings. And her dad was like a hustler. And her mom, I think, worked in like the nursing school. But I don't know. I feel like I'm mostly getting her father and how he had like, even he had other children outside the marriage. Like he was all over the place. Like everybody knew him. He knew a lot of people. Like he was a jack of all trades kind of person. And you couldn't really put your finger on him. So I feel like this isn't really describing you. I feel like this is describing somebody you fathered or mothered, like somebody you gave birth to looked like her. And I feel like they loved the hell out of you, but you were also, because of how you were not really truly there for them, even though you were. I don't know. So since this child is coming through, I feel like it's important. Let's read Cardi B's. So this one says, make friends with rejection and failure. Shmoney is confidence, and confidence is freedom. Don't follow someone if you don't know where they're from. And then Serena Williams is, when life serves you a curveball, pick up your racket. Winning is important, but losing is the real challenge. Smile as though you mean it. So you're very familiar with losing and rejection and failure, but I really feel like it didn't phase you. I really do. I feel like it didn't really phase you, because even Aang in the last Airbender, he was met with a lot of setbacks and challenges, but he was extremely optimistic. Like nothing really got him down for long. So the advice, the divine guidance: water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. Very important to you. And I'm hearing now, because in this lifetime as well, you still have this trait where you still pop around. Look at all these little galaxies. I feel like these little places, these stars, you still pop around. Like you go places all the time. It looks like, I don't know, a turtle coming. I've never seen this before, but it looks like a turtle head here, like coming out of the clouds, or I don't know, the space stuff. I feel like even now you still pop around, you still travel to different dimensions, you still travel to different star systems, to different places. And so this, because you have, I'm hearing a different body now, like this very carbon heavy 3D based body, as beautiful as it is, it's heavy. It needs a lot of rest, I will just say, in order to recover from all of this traveling that you do. This is very important. This is not something like, oh, you should get your toes done and get them polished because it looks cute. No, this is like, you need to take vitamins. you need to have vitamins in your food in order to like survive. Like this is a necessity of your life. This is not an option. So please don't treat it that way. This is not something that you do for luxury. This is something that is a necessity that is infringed upon the kind of person that you are, which is a traveler. Wait, it's not time yet. Things are being woven. So this is a card that I get all the time, which means it's probably my pile. But I think it's interesting how this card is vertical, but it looks better turned sideways. So I feel like this is why you're being encouraged often in your life to not fight for stuff and make stuff get done on your own, because you're not seeing it from the perspective like of source or from your soul, which is the same. You know, your soul is source. Your soul is God. And I feel like you're just very divine, and sometimes you let your human self get too much control when you should let your higher self do the hard work for you, because they see it like this. Like it's much easier like this versus like this. So this is the guidance from your past life, is to be divine like you are. Like be your divine self that you know how to be. Let's get some more cards for you. Clean the hell out of these from pile 3. Lord of mercy. What else do you want them to know? Jeez Louise. Hey, this is urgent. Yeah, the 8 of Bowls. So I think the 8 of Cups is like the walking away card, but it looks like they're coming home, or something is being delivered to them. So something is walking away from something else to come be delivered to you. And this is the same message again, like you don't have to work so hard. Just allow things to come to you. That is the natural order. That's a natural way. You might also want to watch the movie Moana. I'm picking that up. 5 of Arrows, which is the 5 of Swords. I feel like people get jealous of you, or like people don't understand you, and people might pester you and bother you about the way that you are in this life, because I feel like I said, you're still a traveler. You're still pretty strange and different and weird in this very beautiful, innocent kind of way. I feel like the advice is not to invite them in, but to not also try to force them out. It's like the Taylor Swift line. It's like your nemesis will defeat themselves before you get the chance to swing. Like everything in your life, pile number 4, will take care of itself. You don't have to like force anything. The people who are meant for you, they will just show up for you. You don't have to chase anybody. The opportunities that are meant for you, the abundance that's meant for you, it'll just come to you. You just make sure you're not fighting it off. Be very open, be very receptive, rest, let things flow. Wait, be patient. Yeah, see? Wheel of Fortune, harvest. The advice is this is what you are being given always. I feel like your whole life, you've always noticed that everything you've needed, you've always had in a nick of time. Maybe not when you wanted it, but you always got everything you needed. And you have to trust this. And I feel like now it's wanting to come in a big thrust because it looks like it starts small and then it gets bigger. There's a lot wanting to be delivered to you, and it will be 11101 on the clock. It will be, and look, the number 10, 10. Maybe look that number up, or 01, 10001. And even look, your number was 0. Look up the 00 meaning, and then 10 and 01, because that's very important. Like you need to be at 0 a lot. Like be very open. Don't hold on to anything. Don't hold on to your personality. Don't try to be yourself. Just be very open, be very flowing, be like water. Okay, so let's get a quote from this book. So it says, she didn't have time to search for her own clothes or for her shoes, so she grabbed whatever she could find. Anxiety gripped her chest, making it ache, gripping like a vice as she grabbed a pair of woolen socks stuffed inside a pair of old work boots. She thought about taking the boots too, but she knew just by looking at them that they were several sizes too large, and they would only slow her down. A coat hanging from a stand beside the door would at least keep her warm. She wouldn't let herself think about who these things really belonged to. So yeah, you see, these too large boots, they would only slow you down. Let go of anything heavy. I feel like you might have also struggled with anxiety because the way that your blueprint is set up, you're not supposed to know anything. You're not supposed to not know anything, honestly, but like you're not supposed to know this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 step-by-step process. Things are just supposed to happen miraculously for you. Like I feel like you're very dependent on miracles and just manifestation and things just strangely working out. That's how you are. And so I feel like that might cause this human self of yours a lot of anxiety because she doesn't or they don't understand that aspect of your consciousness, of your blueprint. I feel like blueprint is very important for me to say. So yeah, how to ease this up is to let go, have that conversation with your human self and explain to them, I know it doesn't make any sense, but this is how it works for me. You're not strange. You're strange, but there's nothing wrong with you. And then even here, like, keep yourself warm, keep yourself cozy and tucked in, but don't let yourself think too much about the meaning of these things and the prices of things and how things work and, all of this. Don't hold on to any of it. That's your message. Be like water. Be the number 0. Be a fresh, clean slate, a fresh, clean blueprint. And I promise you, like, you will have a much easier go of it pile number 4. So this has been your reading. Please leave a comment if this resonated. You're welcome to donate if you would like to support me in that way. Check out my Ko-fi page for my different products. I do personal readings, so there's information on that in the description as well. Leave a comment if this resonated. Please leave a comment if this resonated. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.